Namaste, Dandava Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 3, the status quo, chapter 32, text 6. Nivritti dharma nirata, nirmama nirahankrita, swadharmaptena satvena, Parishudhena chetasa. By executing one's occupational duties, acting with detachment and without a sense of proprietorship or false egoism, one is posted in one's constitutional position by dint of complete purification of consciousness, and by thus executing so-called material duties, he can easily enter into the kingdom of God. Purport. Here, the word nivritti dharma nirata means constantly engaging in executing religious activities for detachment. There are two kinds of religious performances. One is called pravritti dharma, which means the religious activities performed by the griha for elevation to higher planets or for economic prosperity, the final aim of which is sense gratification. Every one of us who has come to this material world has the sense of lordship. This is called pravritti. But the opposite type of religious performance, which is called nivritti, is to act for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Engaged in devotional service in Krishna consciousness, one has no proprietorship claim, nor is one situated in the false egoism of thinking that he is God or the master. He always thinks himself the servant. That is the process of purifying consciousness. With pure consciousness, only can one enter the kingdom of God. Materialistic persons in their elevated condition can enter any one of the planets within this material world, but all are subjected to dissolution over and over again. Text 7. Suryadvarena te yanti purusham vishvato mukam paravaresham prakritim asyat patyanta bhavanam. Through the path of illumination, such liberated persons approach the complete personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of the material and spiritual worlds, and is the supreme cause of their manifestation and dissolution. Purport. The word Surya Dvarena means by the illuminated path or through the sun planet. Dandavat Pranamam Devi. The illuminated path is devotional service and is advised in the Vedas not to pass through the darkness, but to pass through the sun planet. It is also recommended here that by traversing the illuminated path, one can be freed from the contamination of the material modes of nature. By that path, one can enter into the kingdom where the completely perfect personality of Godhead resides. The words Purusham Vishvato Mukam mean the supreme personality of Godhead, who is all perfect. All living entities other than the supreme personality of Godhead are very small, although they may be big by our calculation. Everyone is infinitesimal, and therefore in the Vedas the Supreme Lord is called the Supreme Eternal amongst all eternals. He is the proprietor of the material and spiritual worlds and the supreme cause of manifestation. Material nature is only the ingredient, because actually the manifestation is caused by his energy. The material energy is also his energy, just as the combination of father and mother is the cause of childbirth. So the combination of the material energy and the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of the manifestation of the material world. The efficient cause is therefore not matter, but the Lord himself. Text 8. Dviparadhavashaneya Pralayo brahmanastute Savad adhyashate lokam Parasya parachintkaha. Dandavat pranam, Uma Devi. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Devi. Worshippers of the Hiranyagarbha expansion of the personality of Godhead remain within this material world until the end of two paradhas, when Lord Brahma also dies. Purport. One dissolution is at the end of Brahma's day, and one is at the end of Brahma's life. Brahma dies at the end of two paradhas, at which time the entire material universe is dissolved. Persons who are worshippers of the Hiranyagarbha, the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, do not directly approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vaikuntha. They remain within this universe on Satyaloka or higher planets until the end of the life of Brahma. Then with Brahma they are elevated to the spiritual kingdom. The words parasya parachintkaha mean always thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or being always Krishna conscious. When we speak of Krishna, this refers to the complete category of Vishnu Tattva. Krishna includes the three Purusha incarnations, namely Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Kshirodaksha Vishnu, as well as all incarnations taken together. This is confirmed in Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Mortishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. Lord Krishna is perpetually situated with his many expansions such as Rama, Nrsimha, Vamana, Madhusudan, Vishnu, and Narayan. He exists with all his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions, and each of them is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The words Parasya Parachintaka mean those who are fully Krishna conscious. Such persons enter directly into the kingdom of God, the Vaikuntha planets, or if they are worshippers of the plenary portion Garbhodaksha Vishnu, they remain within this universe until its dissolution, and after that they enter. Text 9. Shambho nala nila viyan mana indriyartha utad paritam patishanjeshur avyakritam vishyati yarhi guna trayatma kalam parakhyam anubhuya parasvayambhu. After experiencing the inhabitable time of the three modes of material nature known as two parardhas, Lord Brahma closes the material universe, which is covered by layers of earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, ego, etc., and goes back to Godhead. Purport. The word avyakritam is very significant in this verse. The same meaning is stated in Bhagavad Gita in the word sanatana. This material world is vyakrita, or subject to changes, and it finally dissolves. But after the dissolution of this material world, the manifestation of the spiritual world, the sanatana dham, remains. That spiritual sky is called avyakrita, that which does not change. And there the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides. When, after ruling over the material universe under the influence of the time element, Lord Brahma desires to dissolve it, when, after ruling over the material universe under the influence of the time element, Lord Brahma desires to dissolve it and enter into the kingdom of God, others then enter with him. Text 10. Evam paratya bhagavantam anupravishta Ye yogino jita marun manaso viraga. Tanaiva shakam amritam purusham puranam. Brahma pradhanam upyantya gata bimanaha. The yogis who become detached from the material world by practice of breathing exercises and control of the mind reach the planet of Brahma, which is far, far away. After giving up their bodies, they enter into the body of Lord Brahma, and therefore, when Brahma is liberated and goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Brahman, such yogis also enter the kingdom of God. Purport. By perfecting their yogic practice, yogis can reach the highest planet, Brahma Loka, or Satya Loka, and after giving up their material bodies, they can enter into the body of Lord Brahma. Because they are not directly devotees of the Lord, they cannot get liberation directly. They have to wait until Brahma is liberated, and only then, along with Brahma, are they also liberated. It is clear that as long as a living entity is a worshipper of a particular demigod, his consciousness is absorbed in thoughts of that demigod, and therefore he cannot get direct liberation or entrance into the kingdom of God, nor can he merge into the impersonal effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such yogis or demigod worshippers are subjected to the chance of taking birth again when there is again creation. Text 11. Atatam sarva bhutanam Padmeshu kritalayam Shutanu bhavam sharanam Vrajabhavena bhamini. Therefore, my dear mother, by devotional service, take direct shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart. Purport. One can attain direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in full Krishna consciousness and revive one's eternal relationship with him as lover, as supreme soul, as son, as friend, or as master. One can reestablish the eternal relationship. One can reestablish the transcendental loving relationship with the Supreme Lord in so many ways. And that feeling is true oneness. The oneness of the Mayavadi philosophers and the oneness of Vaishnava philosophers are different. The Mayavadi and Vaishnava philosophers both want to merge into the Supreme, but the Vaishnavas do not lose their identities. They want to keep the identity of lover, parent, friend, or servant. In the transcendental world, the servant and master are one. That is the absolute platform. Although the relationship is servant and master, both the servant and the served stand on the same platform. That is oneness. Lord Kapila advised his mother that she did not need any indirect process. She was already situated in that direct process because the Supreme Lord had taken birth as her son. Actually, she did not need any further instruction because she was already in the perfectional stage. Kapila Dev advised her to continue in the same way. He therefore addressed his mother as Brahmini to indicate that she was already thinking of the Lord as her son. Devahuti is advised by Lord Kapila to take directly to devotional service, Krishna consciousness, because without that consciousness, one cannot become liberated from the clutches of Maya. And thus ends our reading for today. We'll continue from text 12 on Friday. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhaktivedanta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Nashangapuri Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Ju Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Sham Kund Radha Kund Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi, Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi ki jai. Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagi ki jai. Scientific Sankirtan Yagi ki jai. Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Institute ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari 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 Bol. Jai Shrimati Uma Devi Dasi ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Sripad Krishna Krishna Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Gurudev.
Dandavat.
Dandavat Sthiti. We bol.